Cheat, and Steal, the podcast about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. I'm your host, Pat Soroyce. Just want to let you guys know we are a bi-monthly podcast, and you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast. And wherever you're listening to us at, please give us a 5-star review and leave a rating. That really helps people find out about us. Also, if you like what you hear, you can catch us on our Patreon for 2 more episodes every month. That's patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. Now, with that out of the way, momentous occasion, in-studio episode with my co-host, Kath Barbadoro. How you doing? Welcome back to Austin, girl.
Hi, Pat. It's so nice to be here. Yeah. This is so exciting. We've done in-person episodes before, but I don't think we've done any since we started doing video.
No,
and definitely not in a fancy real studio with our fancy monitor.
We got what's going on over here?
It's great. It's so funny because I came to Austin. I live in New York. It's winter. It's pretty nasty there. And I was like, finally, I can come enjoy some warm weather.
Yeah.
Last night it was fully 20 degrees warmer in New York City than it was here. So we're recording this episode a little bit early. This is coming out in February. So hopefully Texas has not collapsed as a society. Yeah. We're recording this right before a big freeze that's coming. So.
Yeah, I'm as we get out of here, I'm going to go do apocalypse grocery shopping. I'm going to be throwing bows, fucking Jingle All the Way style, but instead of the toy, it's just water and toilet paper.
I was going to say, what's on your apocalypse shopping list?
Well, some of these, obviously.
Of course.
Gotta get some Lone Stars. Actually, it's a house beer, so Modelo. I've switched over.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not a Lone Star guy anymore.
I still drink Lone Star when I'm out of the house, and I drink at the house sometimes, but there's something about making the little rim with tahine glasses. Yeah, that's my new thing now.
Feeling a little fancy.
Modelo at the crib. But
nice.
I'm going to get... I got some proteins. I am going to get just your basic groceries. I'm going to get water. I'm going to get sparkling water.
Yeah.
Going to get some toilet paper, some paper towels. We have a gas stove, so if anything goes down, I can still cook.
That's good.
So, yeah, I think I'm just buying some, some steak, some veg. I don't know, just some stuff that I'm going to want to eat on a cold day. I think I might make a stew.
Do you have a balcony or an outdoor space?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so... I learned this from New England. If your power goes out, you put all your food out there.
There you go. Yeah. I used to pull up to when I was
my parents' fridge has been broken all winter, and they just have a porch, and all their it's so fun. They have they're it's a classic parents' house thing where they have the garage fridge too.
Oh,
so there's some stuff in there, but all the stuff they need on a day-to-day basis, the milk for their coffee and stuff, is all just on their porch.
On the porch, man. When I lived in Connecticut, you'd show up to a party, you just drop all the beer off outside. Mm-hmm. That was it. No cooler, no fridge needed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but it's gonna be good. I'm gonna take my roommate that wants to buy some stuff too, so we're gonna go in there and try to mob it up.
You'll be off work probably.
I might have a few days off work. They're fully preparing it for us, but the temperatures went up a few degrees of what's anticipated. But it's also coming in a day earlier, so it's gonna start getting colder tomorrow. And they're like, that's the case, we might be off Monday. But then if it comes in Monday, it'll probably be Tuesday. I don't know why it takes a day. I guess it's like a deposit.
I mean it's coming tomorrow. We might be doing another episode in person because it's possible I'm going to get stuck here. We'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be an adventure.
There's something cool about getting stuck somewhere when you're traveling. Obviously there's huge parts of it stuck, but there's something about when it's out of your control.
Yeah.
You're just like, you know what? Hey.
Extra day.
Yeah.
Not the
exactly.
worst.
Yeah.
I talked to I'm staying in an Airbnb and we were talking about it and they're like, well, there's no one coming in after you. So if you need to come back, you can have the place an extra day. So, speaking of travel and adventure, I have a real yarn for you today. I'm very surprised we have not done this one before.
Okay.
I looked through our archive. I recently did I made a hard drive of all of our old episodes to just have it in a physical place. And I didn't see this one there. So I feel like we've done it before, but I was like, we haven't. It's a great story. Yeah. So
if halfway through
it'll be a remake.
Realize,
that's what everybody's doing now. It's a remake of our original IP. Yeah. It's gonna be great.
This is 23 Jump Street. And if you find out halfway through the episode that we've done this already, just enjoy that we're having fun in person. It's not always about you, listener.
The timing is completely perfect. It's not a millisecond off like sometimes when I edit. And so enjoy that.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to be talking about a man with the curious moniker of Lord Gordon Gordon.
Lord Gordon Gordon.
Lord Gordon Gordon.
Hell, man, you know that. Yeah, that's money right there.
The Lord's so nice they named him twice.
Yeah, the couscous of the regalia of court. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I got information about this from a few places: Wikipedia, hoaxes.org. This guy Andrew Martin wrote a really good Medium post on him. It's historianandrew.medium.com. So check all that out if you want to know more about this guy. Yeah, he's a real freak. Also, by the way, before we start, I do want to point out the contrast in our beverages.
Yeah.
This is a real Goofus and Gallant.
Yeah.
Pat's got the XL Lone Star Tall Boy.
Yeah.
I have a Juiceland Green Smoothie.
Both Texas classics, though.
Both Texas classics.
Cheers here.
Cheers.
Clink. On the last episode with Zach Brooks, we had him in the studio. We recorded 2 nights ago. He had a Houston Oilers mug full of booze, and I had this. It was another Texas classic clink. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We do have the contrasting beverages, but we are on the same page fashion.
We're matching. Yeah, we're both monochrome.
Yeah, so black. Yeah.
We don't want to distract from
it's about the content. It's not about the
Exactly.
flashy outfits. Like some podcasts. I have no clue who I'm referencing.
I have friends that do a podcast where they do a lot of video clips and they always put on weird like novelty sunglasses or like a big stupid hat and just don't address it because it makes people stay on the video.
It makes you stop scrolling.
Because it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
I remember early when I was living in Connecticut doing comedy, this guy had a college radio station. And he invited me on the radio show, and I bought a new outfit.
Hell yeah. Gotta feel good.
Yeah. The listeners can hear it, if you're dressed well.
Well, Lord Gordon Gordon, also a real fake it till you make it look the part type of guy.
Yeah.
So not a lot is actually known about his early life. Believe it or not, Lord Gordon Gordon, not a real name, an alias.
And next you're going to say he's not even a lord.
Well, buckle up, Pat. So they think he might have been, it seems like he might have been an illegitimate child of a member of the clergy. So like the result of an affair. And no one's really
crazy
sure.
Because normally those guys never fuck, so that's weird.
That's the thing. That's why I was like, we can't, you can't acknowledge this, At least, he fucked someone of childbearing age, so that's new for them. It's good. So there's some early aliases around for him. One of them was Hubert Hamilton, but that doesn't seem like it was his real name either. So we're just gonna call him Lord Gordon Gordon because that's what he went by for most of the time.
Yeah. I will address you by whatever you want to be addressed by.
Sure. Yeah. Who are we to say?
Whether it's in a positive light is up to you. But,
So this kind of grift started in like the late 1860s. That's kind of when he emerged on the scene.
Ooh, we're getting historical on this one. Okay.
Yeah. This is from quite a while ago. So he popped up in Scotland, and he called himself at that point Lord Glencairn. So he did sort of the classic, like the way this is described. It's basically just the social climbing, except that then there was a financial component. But basically, he showed up. He was, posed as like a well-to-do landowner in Scotland, and he made friends with some like well-known clergymen, some like well-respected members of the clergy in this area. And then he sort of used that to get other powerful people to think he was cool because it's like, oh, he's friends with the clergy. He's a good guy.
A tale as old as time. Like we were saying that whenever we discussed like the multitude of hustles that happened around the vacuous Trump presidency years.
Yeah.
Where it was like people could just get in these little circles of power and lended legitimacy to themselves. And they were able to get whatever shit they'd been cooking for a few years off the ground.
Right. It's like a chain. It's like a telephone thing. It's like, well, this guy said I was cool because this guy said I was cool because this guy said I was cool.
Yeah. Same to Fox News Talking Heads. They were like, once you're in, you're in. We never, once if we assume you've been vetted, we'll never vet you.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's like one of our early episodes was about that fake security consultant guy.
Yeah.
The fake veterans charity guy was kind of that. So yeah, that's what this dude was doing. He was like, I'm a good dude. I'm friends with the clergy. And then he would do the classic thing of asking small favors of people and then making good on whatever, like loan a little bit of money, or like, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And he would do it and he would pay them back or whatever. And again, that establishes that this is a trustworthy person.
Hell yeah.
And all it costs you is like $15. You know, like it's like a small, like it's like you go out to the bar and you buy a round of drinks and then you're like, someone will let you drive their car home. It doesn't take much. You know?
That's man. I have done that. I think we all play that a little bit in life. Like I've done that. I remember like situations where I'm renting from not like a rental agency, but just like one person, and like I don't know. You take care of one or two things, and you're like, hey, this was going on. I'll take care of that. Don't worry. And it's like, hey, one of these days the first is gonna roll around. I'm gonna need 7 extra days. Yeah, but like I've already established myself as somebody.
But I don't call you when the drain clogs. So like, there you go. Leave me alone.
You never hear from me because I'm doing highly illegal shit at your house.
Yeah, man. That's that. It works. It works every time.
I believe they call it I think Benjamin Franklin would do that, where he thought somebody didn't like him and he needed them to like him. He would ask them to do a favor.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, hey, lend me a book or whatever. And they'd be like, all right. They talked about how it was like a middle thing where the guy subconsciously, you're like, well, I wouldn't do a favor for this guy if I didn't like him. I already lent him the books. So I guess I like him now. They call it a Benjamin Franklin move.
The most bang for your buck version of this I've heard is friend of the show Danny Palumbo. He at a bar sometimes, if he's at like a dive bar where they sell chips, he'll just buy out the rack and just give everyone chip, like give the bar a round of chips, and it's like 1/5 the price of a drink, but it feels the same.
Somebody gives you a bag of chips.
You get to act. You are the hero of that bar, and you spend like max $25, and you're like carried out on the shoulders of the bar.
The greasy fingertips of the bar.
Exactly. So that's what this dude was doing. He was buying rounds of chips for everybody. And without the fraud component, this is just sort of social climbing.
Yeah.
But he eventually the heat caught up with him because he was using this. He was sort of ferrying all of this goodwill into establishing lines of credit with various jewelers.
Boom, there you go.
And,
hell yeah, that train is never late.
So after doing this for a couple years, around 1870, Lord Glencairn disappears and leaves debts of over $100,000 in 1870s money. With various jewelers.
Jesus Christ.
So he dipped.
That's an entire GDP of a country back then.
Right.
He just tanks an entire country.
Totally. So the next year, and this, again, like, what a beautiful time in history where he was doing this in Scotland. What does he do? He goes to the New World. He goes to Minneapolis, pops up there.
I love it, man, because we talk about all the time the golden age of crime. Pretty much any time before 1980, when you could just existed in the ether. You could skip town, you shave your mustache, grow your hair out, you were good. What a boon it must have been when it was not just a whole new city, an entire new world,
a country that was less than 100 years old.
Yeah. I'm gonna get at that. That is, I was sitting here. I was like, I wonder what kind of crooks came over, and then I thought about. I was like, oh wait, we elected. We've
done so many.
They're like a lot of crooks came over. Never mind, it's not that huge of a mystery.
So he gets to Minneapolis and he sort of starts doing this same thing, but at this time he's going by Lord Gordon, and he establishes himself as an heir to the Earls of Gordon, who are a very influential Scottish sort of nobility family. They were a branch of the Campbell family who are related to Lord Byron. So it was like,
wow,
some big britches.
This is so crazy. Just like a century and a half later, you have Anna Delvey. Same shit.
Absolutely same shit. Yeah. Like fake socialite. You have Clark Rockefeller. You have like all these people.
Yeah. They're the reason we can do this. So thank you. If you're out here thinking of cooking some shit up like this, please do it.
God bless.
And throw a little detail in there that makes it salacious, and we will give you a huge shout out on the show.
So yeah, that's what he was doing. He was, basically he established himself as like, I own a lot of land in Scotland, and this is sort of like the Industrial Revolution time. So like things in Scotland are sort of converting from like basically feudalism to industry. And so he was like, I have all of these like basically like workers who live on land that I own, and I want to move some of them to land in Minneapolis. Like that was kind of like what his sort of designs were, or why he said he was there. So he like He, is rubbing elbows with the right people. To bolster his credibility, he deposited $40,000 in a bank in Minneapolis, which, at the time, like, huge investment in that bank.
Yeah.
Probably money he had left over from the jewelry swindle.
Yeah, I would imagine
back in
he had
Scotland.
a few ducats laying around at that point.
At this time, like, that was big news in Minnesota that there was this like fancy guy. I mean, it wasn't.
Someone has $40,000 as a guy runs into a bar. Like, have you guys heard? Someone has made $40,000.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but like, I'm imagining Minneapolis at this time is like Little House on the Prairie shit. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot going on out there, at that moment. So,
have you been to Minneapolis?
I have.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Very nice city. Yeah,
it's
also
really
a lot,
great.
Way bigger than you imagined it to be.
I almost moved there instead of Austin.
Oh, really?
It was between those two cities, and the deciding factor was I'm tired of winter.
There
so
you go.
Here.
That's how we get you.
Yeah. So here's a description of him from the time when he was in Minnesota. He was slender of build, about 5 feet 10 inches in height, and dressed with the greatest care, usually wearing gloves, patent leathers, and a silk hat. His hands were frequently manicured, and his hair was brushed as smooth as curly hair could be. He was clean-shaven except for 2 tufts of side whiskers. He was exceedingly self-poised, calm, and deliberate of speech, articulated with much precision, and posed with an amount of ceremony seldom seen on the American continent.
Oh, wow.
So he was Mr. European class.
Mr. European
a bunch
class.
of all these rubes,
Yeah, it should be noted he did not tip.
Yeah.
It was a foreign concept to him, and it was a little insulting that he was even proposed to him.
Absolutely, yeah. Nothing about this guy says good tipper.
Not at all.
So yeah, he's out there, he's bopping around. He eventually meets he meets somebody who's like a whale for a scammer.
Oh yeah.
And that guy is the commissioner of the Northern Pacific Railroad. His name is John Loomis. So again, 1870s, their infrastructure is starting to be built, connecting all of these places in the U.S.
I think generationally, you get like a huge project like that.
Yeah.
That's big. You get it's the rail lines, or it's the internet or something like that. You get that. That's that boon.
Right.
And it's like if you know what you're doing, if you're a scammer worth your salt, that's where you're gonna strike.
You find the industry to exploit. Yeah.
Also, did you know that MOPAC means Missouri Pacific?
I did know that.
I just learned that because I've spent so much time at a fucking standstill on that horrible road that one day I was like, what does that even mean? I was like, yeah, Missouri Pacific Railroad.
Googling while you're waiting in standstill traffic.
Driving with my knee.
If only it was a fucking railroad, maybe there wouldn't be so much goddamn traffic.
Yeah. Can I get a couple of these rail cars y'all are talking about? I used to take the Amtrak from Austin to Temple.
Oh, really?
When my girlfriend lived in Killeen and I had no car.
Where's the Amtrak station here?
It is right downtown. It's not very far away. It's like you get to like that south part of downtown when you get to into like the Don's Depot, like old school downtown.
Yeah.
It's around there.
Interesting.
You just pop up, $15, get you to Temple.
I love Amtrak.
Yeah.
I mean, on the East Coast, it's the best.
I went from Hartford to DC, and it was incredible.
I drove. I went down to do some shows in Delaware from New York, and the tolls driving to and from New York were like $60. It's like, just take the fucking train.
Take the fucking train, yeah.
It's the same amount of money.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit in traffic.
Half the time it's empty.
Yeah. It's, Amtrak fucking rules.
If me and Joe Biden agree on one thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so Commissioner John Loomis is in charge of the Northern Pacific Railroad. And as I said, Lord Gordon Sort of positioned himself as saying, and he was very good about sort of indirectly implying all of this stuff and not just coming out and saying it.
Yeah.
And again, like, this is a very good scammer tactic of letting the other person feel like they've spotted the opportunity.
Yeah.
Not that you're presenting them with something, but that they're like, hey, wait a minute. And that's what this guy did. So he basically, he sort of let it slip that he had these overcrowded Scottish estates that he was in charge of, and he wanted to move some of his tenants over.
God, I just wish I had a place to do it.
Right.
But what was beat up about me? Let's talk about you.
Exactly. So, and the nice thing about that too is then that person tries to sort of woo you, tries to convince you, and you get an even sweeter deal because the power dynamic is flipped and you're not negotiating for it.
Oh man, dude, this is such a sweet science, and that's something that kind of just really, I don't want to come off as a sociopath, but like that's just, I don't know, like I've been a straight.
Clearly, we do this podcast, like we do have some form of appreciation.
Yeah, I got an affinity for this shit, man. I've. Let's do something a little tame and digestible. Trying to score weed in a town that I'm on the road is not a big city.
Sure.
Yeah, you just kind of be like, yeah, man, if anybody had any bud, I mean, I'd probably pay above average for it. Like it's stuff like that. I can see it's beautiful to watch it, man.
So yeah, like he basically gets this guy to think like, oh, you know who has a lot of land? The Northern Pacific Railroad. And maybe we can sell a little bit of this.
Just taking a drink, really?
Because like at this time when they're building these railroads, they need a ton of investment capital to make these railroads happen. So like they're trying to sell stuff to get the money. So Loomis starts sort of going about wooing this guy. So they bring Lord Gordon on like a grand tour of the land that he's thinking of buying. Yeah. So like he travels on like first class accommodations, and they give him like a valet and a secretary to come with them. So he's just like vacationing in style. Yeah, pretty much. You
guys are all about to feel so fucking stupid. This is also like the fake Saudi prince guy.
Yeah.
He was just people just carting him around, like treating him like royalty, and just based off his association. That's
right,
man.
But then there's the extra thing here of this guy. They're like rolling out the red carpet for him, and he's like, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Yeah, so delightful.
Damn, yeah, like this is like. That's one of those things. Like I get along with people well. You know what I'm saying? I make friends pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what stops me from going full this guy. Because I can't royally screw somebody over or rip off a real person. And it's like that is that is what makes people in the big leagues.
Right.
Yeah. Where he knows to do that. Like I don't know, all this stuff that you're doing for me. It kind of like to play that's pro shit.
Yeah, no, I mean we've talked about this before. You joked that someone said you had like a used car salesman ability to you, and then you realized that wasn't necessarily a compliment.
It was not. It was not a compliment.
But you do. I mean, and it's like a testament to how you're like a really, really good comic on the road because you get along with everybody and you can make a lot of different types of people feel comfortable.
Yeah,
and like if you didn't want to, you probably would not have to pay for drinks. Yeah. Like you could, like you just have that kind of personality, you know?
I've gotten through all that. That's another thing perfectly about letting them think they're doing you a favor, whatever, like stepping off stage and being like, oh yeah, I'm just hanging out. This one gets you a drink. Yeah, you learn how to work it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you learn.
But like luckily you're a good guy. So you don't push it. Yeah, but like exactly. You can definitely see some like-minded, some tactics.
Why I have such a respect for these guys.
Yeah, I don't have that ability at all. I'm very envious of it. I feel like I've said this on the podcast before. When I was in high school, so my brother has that. My brother is, I have social skills, but like my brother is super charming, but in like a genuine way. It doesn't feel slimy. He's just like, he gets along with people. He used to be a salesman and like genuinely liked it, which to me is like psycho. But
I was a salesman and hated it. So
but we went to the same high school and we were both chronically late. We were late all the time. Yeah. And every time I was late, I got detention. He never got detention. And I was just like, all right, this is the penalty. And he just like sweet talked the secretaries and they liked him. Dude, and so he never got detention. Like that's the difference between having those skills and not having those skills.
Me and my cousin Kenny, when I lived in Connecticut, we lived next to a People's United Bank branch, which is a Connecticut bank. And we both had People's. And I would go to the same bank branch and we would go in with our checks on Fridays and cash our checks, and I would walk out with my money already available in the account, and he'd be like, motherfucker said I gotta wait till Monday, dude. I was like, yeah, it's because as soon as they started saying that, you started yelling at them. I know the lady, she listens to the podcast and comes to my shows now, Donna Smith, how you doing? What's up?
Hell yeah.
I as cool as hell with that lady. I knew about her family. I was like, that's why my money is in my account right now.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, that's this guy clearly had those skills too. And so he's doing all this in like 1870, 1871, 1872. 1872, he's like, okay, I'm interested in buying. But I need to go back to New York to deal with sort of all the financial stuff. I need to get everything in order to make these purchases because
classic scam move. We got the pieces in play now. I got to piece out for a second.
I think again, it probably worked better in the 19th century before things were connected. It's like, okay, you have to go to this major financial center to like figure all this.
It's like a Django plot point. It was just like, hey, I got to get out of here.
Exactly. So the tycoons in Minneapolis are like, okay, we'll get you back to New York. We'll introduce you to all the right people there, which is like famous last words. Because then he spots some even bigger targets. In New York.
Bon voyage, fuckers. I don't even care about what y'all are doing right now.
Right. It's like, I don't even need to follow up on this scam. I already did it.
I fired all my employees in Scotland. Goodbye.
So he gets to New York and he rents a suite at the Astor Hotel, which is like one of the nicest hotels in the city at the time. And he, befriends Horace Greeley, who's like a journalism.
Oh, I've heard that name.
Yeah. He was the editor of the New York Tribune and like a big, powerful person in New York City around this time. So, he sort of does the same type of stuff with Horace Greeley, and the like person in control of the media in the city is a great person to have on your side.
Yeah. So like they say, never start a fight with a guy who buys ink by the Subsequently, get cool as shit with a guy who buys ink by the barrel.
Absolutely.
Take the offensive measure.
Yes.
That's what you do.
So he sort of gets the goss through Greeley that the Erie Railroad Company is having some drama. So there's like a power vacuum, and there are like multiple parties sort of fighting for control of the Erie Railroad Company.
He's like, oh, that's so unpleasant.
Right. We talk about this all the time. Like, con artists love a power vacuum. Like, it is a perfect place to...
Chaos is a ladder.
Chaos is a ladder.
Yeah,
exactly.
I wrote that.
You just thought of it right now.
Yeah. That's right at the dome, baby.
So he like hears about all of this, and Greeley's just sort of talking about it, and he's like, weird you should say that. I actually am an investor in the Erie Railroad Company, and I have my own plan to replace the board with people who are like sympathetic to me. And
he's like, you mean like me? Like I'm sympathetic to you? Yeah. Oh, damn it.
So
that makes me that is such a good move.
So now all of these railroad tycoons are coming to suck up to him.
Yeah.
Because they think he's gonna be the one who is like gonna be putting the people in place here. So the most notable of these is this guy Jay Gould, who is like sort of a rival guy who was plotting to take over the railroad company, and he was like, oh no, this like European faction of people is gonna thwart my plans, basically. So he goes to Gordon to like negotiate and say, look, you can choose the directors, but like let me be the head. So he's like, again, like with the land stuff, he's like negotiating with someone who doesn't actually have anything.
That's nothing to say. Oh, that's so he's like, hey, you control directors, let me be the head. He's like, okay. All right, okay, all right. Yeah, and it's like you just dropped the deal of a lifetime in his fucking lap.
Even better, he says, well, how do I know I can trust you? I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know you. I think, in a show of good faith, you should give me $500,000 in cash.
Yes. Yes, you should.
And he's like, it's just so I know you're for real. I won't spend it. I will just keep it. And once we get all of these things, all our ducks in a row, I will give it back to you. That's what he says.
Oh, that's so tight, man. They don't call him Lord for nothing. This dude is working miracles out there, baby.
So this is like crazy, and this ultimately is sort of what ends up being sort of a problem for him, his downfall. So
half mil do that.
He gets the $500,000. He also gets $160,000 in shares and like in various companies, like other stocks. So you'd think, maybe a lesser man would be like, great, bye.
But
he stays. He stays in town, and he sells some of the shares. Like he starts selling, he starts selling this guy's stuff. And I think he just gets a little too close to the sun with this because Gould finds out that he's selling the shares, which he promised that was what the deal was, you know?
I promise I won't spend any of this cash.
Right.
And it's like, all right, dog, like that's not going to happen.
Right. And he like instantly starts trying to make deals. And like, I guess he was thinking, you know, now that I have these shares, maybe I can like make some profit and then give it back or something.
Yeah.
But Gould finds out and he's like, fuck this, give me my money back. This is that bullshit. And again, Gordon doesn't leave town. He actually gives most of the money back except for the stuff he sold. He sold about $150,000.
Well, it feels like he understands the value of what he has. Like he might have been like, "Oh, naughty Gordon, you shouldn't have done that." Like you overstepped the line a little bit, but this is a very good position to be in because he came in with nothing.
We don't know who he is.
And now he has the potential like essentially head of the Erie Railroad.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think this is sort of like an Elizabeth Holmes type thing where it's like, are you scamming or are you months away from this becoming legitimate type of thing in his mind? You know what I mean? Where it's like, I mean, if you're in charge of a railroad company, you're in charge of a railroad company.
Yeah. There's no scam there. That's just is what it is.
Right. Like you did get it.
Yeah.
And you don't need like a specific license to be that guy, especially in 1870. You were probably just like a person who had a lot of money. It doesn't matter how you got it. Probably slavery. So like, is conning people out of it even worse?
Yeah, he's like, hey, I got all these workers that live on my property, and I just want to move them en masse over to here. I mean, I'm sure that's I don't know if that's slavery, but it's the same notes. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. It's like, oh, okay. So if he was legit, it's not like he would have earned this money through any noble, noble means. So anyway, I think you might be right. I think he might be thinking about it this way.
Yeah.
So he still doesn't skip town. He returns everything he has, but he obviously has already sold these shares. He doesn't give that money back. He's like, sorry, too late. You got me.
Yeah.
But Gould doesn't let this go. Gould sues him. So again, like this, I feel like he overplayed his hand a little bit because he does get arrested, but everybody likes this guy so much. All the powerful people like this guy so much they pay his bail.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, they're just like, who among us hasn't done a little bit of financial crime?
It's sort of the Cat Williams bit where he's like. Like, you got to get yourself some white friends. I'm like, he wouldn't have killed anybody. I've known him for 2 weeks.
Man, I was just talking about this last night. I'm so glad I can, like, not that it was, like, embarrassing, but, like, I'm so glad I can be a proud Cat Williams fan now. I fucking love Cat Williams.
I think he is
one of my favorites ever.
I think he is undermentioned in the greats conversation.
Yes, agreed.
Dude, he is... Oh, just such a fantastic comic.
Pimp Chronicles, like one of the best specials of all time.
One of the best,
so good.
One of the best comedy specials of all time. Just like the mix of writing and stage presence,
incredible.
Never see that, like both of those firing on that many cylinders. It's wild.
Incredible performer. The act outs are so funny, and then the writing is so sharp.
Yeah, it's usually you're sacrificing one of those to get more of the other. Not with our man Cat.
And about everything. There's no topic that he cannot do justice to. Like it's like stupid bits about pimping and then like an amazing bit about the Iraq War. Then like he just can talk about anything. He's just so good and not like not trying to be preachy, not trying to be smarter than you, but such a smart writer. God bless him. Anyway, tangent, but fucking Cat Williams rules.
We'll take that tangent anytime.
Look, he is a problematic fave. He has fought dozens of people. He is constantly fighting women, children. That guy loves to throw hands, but
and not that.
But
great
to be fair, he fights men too.
Yeah,
he is
fight
equal.
Men too,
you know, he'll fight anybody.
Anyone can catch these hands.
Anyway, check him out. He gets arrested, but then the good people of New York, the upstanding power players in the New York society, they pay his bail. And he comes to the trial, and he plays it so cool. Just butter would not melt in this guy's mouth. He, this guy who wrote a book about it, he says, quote, during 3 hours of vigorous examination, Gordon sat with his legs crossed and his thumbs thrust carelessly into his waistcoat pockets. Yep. As unconcerned and unruffled as if conversing in a drawing room.
Wow.
I didn't do anything. Love it.
Who, me?
Me? So, he says, look, I'm legit. I'm from this famous Scottish family. Here are a list of my references. Like, here are all these important English and Scottish nobles who are like my friends, my peers, my business partners. I'm legit. And he seemed so calm and cool that people believed him. Like, he seemed like a credible witness. However, and again, benefiting from sort of the back then times, they wired all of these people overnight after the trial. And by the time in the morning that all of the references were like, we've never heard of this guy, he's out. He's gone in the wind. Yep. In the wind, he goes to Montreal, which they don't find out for a while. So, spoiler alert, he goes to Montreal.
Yeah, because all the news was in English and they looked down on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, too busy smoking and doing fucking mime work.
So, Gould is furious because Gould has been humiliated.
Yeah. Along with everyone else too. They were all equally humiliated, but he was like, "I was right. I told you all this." Yeah.
So all of these people who were his former friends were like, "This motherfucker, he got us." But Gould in particular is very embarrassed. So he offers a reward for his arrest. So he's a very rich, powerful man. So like he gets sort of like a fleet of detectives to go to Europe and try to figure out where this guy came from. They found out about Lord Glencairn at that point, but they couldn't really find anything out about him earlier than that. Yeah. So like we really don't know what this guy's deal was. We just know he wasn't any of these people.
Yeah. So we know who he isn't.
Yeah. So, the private detectives go talk to like these jewelers in Edinburgh and London, and they realize this is the guy. Because they have pictures of him at this point. So they're like, they recognize him. So like a little over a year after this, they find him, and at this point, he is in a town called Erie, Manitoba, which is
Carmen Sandiego's ex-husband. Where in the world is Erie, Manitoba?
He moved there after their divorce. He went to Erie, Manitoba.
My name is Erie, Manitoba. I'm just a simple country lawyer.
So Erie, Manitoba is it's only 50 miles north of the border with Minnesota. So he went back to his former,
getting a little too close to the Twin Cities there, buddy.
Exactly. But he stayed on the right side of the border. He wasn't in any trouble.
Yeah.
So they find him, and again, because this whole thing was a scandal, the people in Minneapolis are also embarrassed because they also got taken. Like they ushered this guy around, and then they found out he was just a bullshitter.
Geez, I think you did something to really put a stain on the intellectual prowess of Minneapolis. We used to be renowned scholars and quick studies, but not anymore, thanks to you.
Not anymore. They find out that he's up there. These prominent Minneapolis residents. And they basically form an extrajudicial mob.
Oh,
shit. They get some cops to come with them. And they're just like, we're fucking going up. You know?
Never been a problem to get some cops on an extrajudicial mob.
They love it.
You pay a couple overtime hours, you get away with fucking murder. That's not even a euphemism.
No, part of the perks. Part of the perks. So they're pumped. They're very excited. They get to go do
I would
some.
be too. If I was ever in a posse, boy.
I'm telling you, just cocking the shotgun, rounding up the troops.
Just unload the shotgun so I can cock it again because it sounds cool.
Because it's awesome to do. Yeah. So they go up to get him, and they just find him. He's chilling on his front porch in Erie, Manitoba. Like, hello, old friend. You know. And they try to bring him back to Minnesota. They try to arrest him. However, I don't know if you know about international law, but you can't just do that.
Yeah, you can't just go and arrest people. Yeah,
you can't just go into another country and grab somebody and bring them back.
It was a big plot point in the second Dark Knight. You know, the Dark Knight, right? Yeah, Dark Knight was, you got to go over there and get his ass.
Yeah, that's why Roman Polanski's in France. We can't.
Just winning awards and shit.
Winning awards. Every good director signing a petition about how it's okay that he did that for some reason.
Yeah, man.
It's so weird. Like, anytime any director is getting any accolades, people are like, he signed that petition about Roman Polanski. And it's like, yeah, man, they all did.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't know who's on it, but I'm pretty sure.
I know Scorsese is, which is like,
Christ.
and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Dude, I want to enjoy your shit, man. Stop doing stuff like that. It's like, just like the three fucking Texas Crooks with Zach Brooks that we covered. Mm-hmm. All three of those dudes have a wild, way less cool fact about them.
Sure. Yeah.
It's all there.
But yeah, so turns out you can't just go into Canada and grab a guy and then bring them back over the border. So when they were trying to get back into the U.S., the Canadian police were like, you can't do that. Actually, here's a, reverse. You're all going to jail.
That's probably why he was just so chilled out.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, come on, take me, let's go. Yeah.
They hadn't figured out extradition, and there is a process for that, So he was just he was just chilling up there, and the Canadian police were like, well, you can't just kidnap a guy in Canada and bring him to the U.S. So all of you guys are going to jail. And again, these were the rich people of Minnesota are now in a jail cell in Canada.
Minnesota's back to being for the people, baby. Yeah.
So exactly. They could have had what they could have had, the utopia, the communist utopia. They could have set up in Minneapolis.
The communist utopia of St. Paul. That's right.
So they because they're like the rich people in the town, of course, their one phone call, which they didn't have that at the time, but the telegram they sent was to the mayor. They just sent the mayor hey, all of your campaign donors are.
Yeah. If you want to get City Hall moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them know everybody who ever given them money is being held in Canada. Those dudes will, that will light a fire.
So the telegram says, quote, "We're in a hell of a fix. Come at once." Which is great.
We're in a hell of a fix.
We're in a hell of a fix.
Of our own design.
So this story gets even bigger because now this is an international diplomacy problem.
Yeah. This
is like Brittany Griner in Russia. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is a problem. So it's an issue. It's a huge scandal. They're writing about it in the papers in Minnesota, who are there's op-eds where they're we need to get a militia to go across and free our beloved rich people.
Oh, they're taking all of our rich people.
Yeah.
That's it almost feels like a precursor to the 1995 John Candy movie, Canadian Bacon, where they declare war on Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. It almost happened. It was a big sort of outcry. They wanted to, send another group over. So eventually, this becomes a diplomatic issue between the president and the prime minister of Canada.
Yeah.
It gets all the way up to them, and they have to negotiate. And basically, all of the Minnesota guys eventually get free, but so does Gordon.
Hey.
He's I don't think the Canadian police ever arrested him. He just got to get out again.
Just out. Oh, that's so fucking tight.
Yeah.
Man, that's just when you think he can't get any cooler. He does like that. He's and I guarantee he's in jail among the guys who are trying to capture him. He's like, oh, well, thank Christ, we're all getting out, right, guys?
Yeah.
Good news. Hey, good show all around. Everybody shake hands.
So they just that. They hadn't negotiated that part of it, so he gets to go. And then in 1874, so a year later, the U.S. government has finally gone through the right process to get him extradited. Yeah. So that's the thing, is they couldn't just give him to the Americans because they had to figure out all that stuff. So they finally go through the right diplomatic channels to get this guy extradited to the U.S. So he's charged in the U.S. And they find him again. I think he's still in Manitoba at this time. And when they got there, he was taking a nap. So
I think that's the only way you're gonna get my man Gordon. Is you gotta catch him sleeping.
So he gets woken up, and they're like, "We gotta take you," and he's like, "I really want to finish this nap." And they're like, "You can't do that."
He's reading the fine print of the warrant. It doesn't say I can't finish the nap.
Yeah,
that's not in there. I feel like
there's no rules against it.
Yeah. This is a pretty sensitive situation. It's international, guys. Let me take my nap.
So he realizes, all right, they're not going to let me finish my nap. All right, fine.
Motherfuckers. Yeah. You know how many times I've realized like I'm not going to be able to continue sleeping? I just got to get up and begrudgingly start
worst.
the day. Yeah, Gordon, I understand it.
I am. So it's half the reason I do stand up is because I'm so bad in the morning. I can't. It's off every day of my life.
Yeah.
That's why I was fucking late to high school every morning. I can't get up. I literally negotiated it in my contract at my day job that my day starts at 10.
Hell yeah.
Because I can't.
I never even thought about doing that. That's
you don't
insane.
want me before 10. I can't do anything. Like, yeah, I can't do it. I wish I could. The world is set up for morning people.
Yeah.
I am a persecuted minority in this world.
It is crazy how like there's been no agreement that the day should start super early. It's just that the people who start the day super early were like, this is when the day starts.
Yeah.
And we just acquiesce control over to them.
I mean, I think it's more common, but it is like, it's been such a frustrating thing my whole life that like my therapist at one point was just like, you're getting the same amount of stuff done. You just get it done at a different time.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's nothing inherently like immoral about starting your day later. Like it's not like you're like lazy. You still have the same amount of stuff in your day.
Yeah. It should have made you feel guilty about
right.
it.
Like I happen to be like at my most alert kind of around 7 to 9 p.m. where like a lot of morning people are going to sleep then.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. So anyway, if you're not a morning person, there's no shame in it.
No shame at all.
Back in the day, you would have been very helpful as the night watchman while everyone else slept. So, you know.
Yeah, it is weird how we just there's so many things like the fact that humans really aren't supposed to do anything during the winter. We weren't built for that shit. Yeah, we're not supposed to do something. We're not supposed to get up at 7 a.m. or fucking say I get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to get up at 4:30 in the winter. Like, you know, like to harvest electricity.
Unnatural.
That shouldn't even exist. Electricity shouldn't even be here. Like, you guys are lucky I'm even playing ball with this bullshit.
Anyway, Gordon's one of us. He was asleep.
Yeah. Gordon, you're always welcome on the show.
So, well, I have some bad news.
Damn it. Is he dead? Is he dead? He didn't die, did he?
He is going to die basically almost at the end of this sentence. So,
damn it.
Gordon, he realizes they're not going to let him finish his nap, and he's like, fine. I'll go get dressed. Whatever.
Uh-oh.
So he goes into the other room. He's like, it's cold outside. Let me get my hat. He goes in the other room, shoots himself in the head.
Oh, damn it, Gordon.
Gordon, he's just like, you are not taking me alive.
You know what, though? We are not ever advocating self-harm, but like it feels like Gordon read the situation, saw the writings on the walls. He's like, I know how I like to live.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I know the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to, and it is stopping the minute I put this hat on. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
So I mean, he took control. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, Gordon. Well, shit. I mean, I know he's up there in heaven.
For sure.
Scamming God.
Yeah, he's that's what I mean. I can't believe we hadn't done that before. Yeah, it's such a tale.
He is running power plays on the party planning committee in heaven.
Yes. Yeah, he really figured out how to do it.
Yeah, Lord Gordon. Wait, how old was he?
They don't know because they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think he was probably. I mean, let's see. So he started he basically kept up the scams that we know about for like between 15 and 20 years.
Wow.
So I would guess he was probably in his like mid 40s.
Yeah.
Probably, which like, you know.
I mean, at that point, you're thrust into adulthood at like 14 back then. So
yeah. So he'd been around. I mean, that's still early to go out, but I get where he was. He had some time to think about it because he was up in Canada and he probably knew they were coming for him eventually.
Yeah.
So he was just like, the day they come, the day I go.
Yeah. I wonder, this basically out of left field, but it has a destination to it, I promise. I wonder what his what he was into, like relationship wise, if he was like, because I feel when I hear some of these guys, obviously we don't know about his like romantic conquest or who he's shacking up with or which way or the other, but it feels like that would be the downfall of most humans. Is I met a girl or I met a guy, I met somebody or I'm interested in this relationship and that's what's going to stop me from screwing over the entire city of Minneapolis because I met somebody.
Yeah.
I sometimes I'll hear about these figures and obviously it's just lack of reporting. I don't know, but I'm like, was there like an asexual component to it maybe where he's just like.
He loved scamming more than sex
like,
or romance.
That's how I get the wrong. Yeah, like, he would scoff at the idea. I was like, am I asexual? No, not at all. I'm horny for the scam.
Horny for scams. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do think like it's not necessarily asexual, but like for some people, and I think for probably a lot of the people we cover, that sex is not something that motivates them the way it motivates a lot of people. Just sort of evolutionarily, that's not how it is for a lot of people. And that will free up a lot of your time if that's not something you're you know interested in.
I've done a few off the books maneuvers in my day, and all of it ultimately, if you break down, has been in pursuit. You know, like even if not directly, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get a pocket full of money.
It's a holistic.
I know why I want that. You know, like,
right. Yeah, it's sort of a holistic direction that everything is kind of heading into. But yeah, this guy, he didn't seem to have anybody really else in his life. Yeah. Just in it for the love of the game.
Yeah, I'm getting real Lord Varys vibes off the dude.
Yeah. Very much.
That's, well, shit. Kath, thank you so much. We hadn't done that yet, and you corrected that problem. So thank you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching and tuning in and listening, whichever thing you're doing out there. Kath, it's so much fun to have you back in the studio. It's so much fun to have you in Austin.
Gotta come back soon.
Yeah, gots to. Guys, if you liked what you heard, you can actually hear 2 more episodes a month on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast. Check us out there. I'm on Twitter at PZTX. And where can we find you, Kath?
I'm at Kath Barbadoro on pretty much everything. I live in New York City and do stand-up in the New York City area. I have another podcast called What a Time to Be Alive. It comes out every week. If you're hearing this, I think the day it comes out. Oh, no, wait. Never mind. It's a week after. Go to my social media. I probably have shows. Yeah. Find me there.
That's how it works. Well, shit, Kath, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing coming on. Thanks so much for coming home. Yeah, thanks so much for coming home and doing the show. And it's really great to have you in the studio. And well, I wish you the best of luck for your stay. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good, safe February. But be safe, be smart. But above all, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. See you next time.